The water tasted wrong. That was the first sign, and nobody thought anything of it. For days, guests at the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles had been complaining. Low pressure, a faint, strange taste that nobody could quite name, the color slightly off, in a way that was easy to dismiss. Maintenance climbed to the roof, to the large black water tanks that supplied the whole building. They opened the hatch, and the smell hit first, and they stopped, and they stared, and everything changed. Inside the tank, floating in the water the entire hotel had been drinking and bathing in for nearly 3 weeks, was a body. A young woman, 21 years old, still wearing clothes. Her name was Elisa Lam. And nobody, not then, not now, has ever been able to fully explain how she got there. Elisa Lam was a student from Vancouver, Canada. Bright, curious, creative. The kind of person who noticed small things, a color in the sky, a stranger's expression, the way a city felt different depending on which street you were on. "I write to understand," she once posted on her blog. Not to explain, just to understand. She kept an active online journal, full of thoughts about books, travel, art, and the world, as she was slowly learning to move through it. Her posts felt like someone genuinely trying to figure life out, one entry at a time. In January 2013, she packed a bag and set out alone on a trip down the West Coast. San Francisco first. Then, Los Angeles. She was excited. She posted updates along the way. She was happy. On January 26th, she checked into the Cecil Hotel, a budget choice in downtown LA. Affordable. Central. A little worn, but fine for a few nights. But this is where the story breaks. What Elisa may not have known is that the Cecil had a history. Suicides. Disappearances. A darkness that the building seemed to carry in its walls like old damp. Locals knew. Tourists didn't. By February 1st, just 6 days after checking in, Elisa Lam had vanished. No note. No goodbye. No sign she intended to go anywhere. Just gone. Her family reported her missing. Police came, searched the hotel top to bottom. Nothing. 3 weeks passed. The water complaints started. Maintenance climbed to the roof. And that's where this story truly begins. While Elisa was missing, police released security footage from one of the hotel's elevators. Grainy. Black and white. A few minutes long. They were hoping someone might recognize her. What the public saw stopped millions of people cold. Elisa steps into the elevator. Red jacket. Dark shorts. She runs her hand along the panel, pressing almost every button. Then she moves to the back of the car and waits. The doors don't close. And then something strange happens. She steps to the doorway and leans out into the hallway. She looks left. She looks right. She pulls back inside. She looks again, like she's checking. Like she heard something that the camera didn't. The hallway is empty. Completely still. She retreats to the far corner of the elevator and presses herself against the wall. Her hands come up. She holds still for a moment, like she's listening. This is the moment that stops people. This is the frame they replay. Because she doesn't look confused. She looks afraid. Specifically, deliberately afraid, the way you look when you know exactly what you're afraid of. Then, she steps back out into the hallway. She stands there, and she raises both hands in front of her and begins to move them. Slowly, in deliberate patterns. Her fingers extend, her head tilts. She looks like she is talking to someone, responding to someone who is right in front of her. There is no one there. You can see the full length of that hallway. It is empty. She goes back in, presses more buttons, steps out again. Back to the corner. The pattern repeats, but each time, something feels more wrong. And then, calmly, almost peacefully, she walks down the hallway, and disappears around the corner. The elevator doors, which had been held open this entire time by nothing visible, finally close. It is the last footage ever taken of Elisa Lam. When investigators studied the footage, they weren't just watching a woman behave strangely. They were counting the things that had no explanation. That's when they noticed something no one expected. The elevator doors. Motion activated. They should have closed on their own long before the footage ended. Instead, they stayed open for several minutes, as if something in the doorway was triggering the sensor. But nothing was there. No object. No person. Nothing. Then, there was the roof. To reach those water tanks, you had to pass through a door that was alarmed. No alarm triggered. Then you had to climb a metal ladder fixed to the outside of the tank. Then, lift a heavy lid from above. When her body was found, that lid was closed. She was inside the tank. No handle on the inside. No latch. No way to pull it shut above you. There is no mechanism that makes this possible from within. Her clothing was found floating separately in the water, not on her, beside her. When that happened, and how, has never been explained. Her room was untouched. Bag. Journal. Everything where she left it. No struggle. No signs of panic. No signs of a goodbye. It looked like she stepped out for 5 minutes. She never came back. And the hands. People who study behavior, psychologists, investigators, filmmakers, have all watched that hallway sequence and landed in different places. But the detail they keep returning to is the same. Her gestures look responsive, not random, like she's in a conversation, like something is speaking, and she is answering. The official ruling. Accidental drowning. Elisa had a documented history of bipolar disorder and was on multiple medications. The argument is that she had a severe episode that night, that her mind detached from reality, that she became disoriented and frightened of things that weren't there, that she wandered to the roof in a confused state, climbed the tank, and fell in. On the surface, this works. Psychiatric episodes can make the impossible feel logical. They can make a person hide in corners from nothing, talk to empty hallways, climb ladders at 2 a.m. without understanding why. But here's where it falls apart. If she climbed into that tank alone and fell in, disoriented, confused, afraid, the lid was still closed above her. No handle on the inside. No latch. No way to pull it shut. A person in psychosis cannot seal a lid on top of themselves from inside a tank. That part of the theory doesn't work, no matter how many times you turn it over. So consider the second theory. That she didn't do this alone. That the footage shows her hiding, actively, specifically hiding, from someone just out of frame. That whoever she was trying to avoid followed her to the roof. That the lid was closed by someone else, from the outside, deliberately. This theory is disturbing precisely because it fits the footage so cleanly. The fear, the corner, the loop. It looks exactly like someone trying to hide and running out of places to go. But there is no evidence of another person anywhere on that roof. No fingerprints, no witnesses. No camera catches anyone else heading up there. Nothing. Theory 1 can't explain the lid. Theory 2 can't produce a second person. Neither one closes. The case was officially closed. Accidental drowning. Elisa was brought home to her family in Vancouver, and they buried her. And they grieved in the way families grieve when the grief doesn't have a shape they recognize. The Cecil Hotel was eventually rebranded. New name, new lobby. The past, as always, painted over rather than removed. But the footage never went away. Millions of people have watched it. Detectives, psychologists, film students, people who don't even follow true crime, sitting alone at midnight with their headphones in, watching a grainy black and white video and feeling something they cannot name. They all stop at the same moment, the same frame. The one where she steps into that empty hallway and lifts her hands and begins to move, slowly, deliberately, as if someone is standing right there, and you watch it, and a part of your brain, the ancient instinctive part, says, she is not alone. Whatever the camera shows, she is not alone in that hallway. That gap between what her body is saying and what the camera can see is where this case has lived for over a decade. No theory has closed it. No ruling has explained it. It just stays open, like those elevator doors that wouldn't shut. Elisa Lam wrote to understand, not to explain, just to understand. She never got to write the last entry. And we are left with a hallway, a tank, a lid with no handle on the inside, and a young woman moving her hands in the dark, responding to something the camera never caught. Whatever was there, it never appears on camera. The camera saw nothing. But she clearly did.